Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. This is for International Scrapbook Day, and I am working with Cut Shoppe files. All right, so I am using this cut file by the Cut Shoppe, and I went ahead and I made it so that it will put the stitches in there for me so that I can stitch around. And I'm thinking I kind of wanted to have these open spots so that I could put some patterned papers behind it, or maybe even a picture. But then I found these photos and I decided I would go ahead and use these. And the things that I'm thinking about are, I have this flair from a Flair for Buttons that says Photobombed with an arrow, and that's really what she was doing. So I think I'll probably use that photo, or these photos, and I'll probably use that. And I decided to pull some of that purple and red. So I grabbed the Noteworthy by Elle Studio 6x6 pad, and I grabbed a couple of the papers too, and I think I'm gonna stick with kind of a purple, a red, and this kind of green aqua color. And so I pulled out these, I think maybe I'll do something kind of like that, and then maybe put my photographs here, and then I'm gonna stitch. So I have 3 colors, and most of this, if not all, is gonna be covered up. So I'm gonna wait on stitching on that one, but I will stitch on the rest for sure. And then if I need to add some stitching in places for this one, I will add it. So that's kind of what I'm working on. And I'm gonna do my stitching off camera, and I will see you soon. Okay, I am back, and what you're seeing me do here is I'm gonna go ahead and back this file with some patterned paper. I decided that I really wanted to pop the stitching page up off the rest of the page, and so what I'm doing here is I'm using a piece of white cardstock that I had used a cut file on and accidentally used the wrong setting, and so it didn't cut all the way through. So rather than waste that, I'm using this to just kind of back it so that my pattern papers are on the page underneath this page here that I am going to put all of this lovely mismatched foam on. It's just foam that I got from Craft Foam from Michael's probably, and it has adhesive on one side, and then I'll glue it down using my handy dandy glue bottle. And I sped that up, but I just wanted you to see that that's how I kind of made it stand up and make it a little bit more dimension there. And then you can kind of see there how you can see a little bit of a shadow, which is kind of what I was going for. So like I showed you to start off with, I knew that I wanted to go ahead and go with these colors, and I wanted to use that flare button and these photographs. And so now I'm going through a bunch of the Elle Studio pieces. The wood veneer, I'm using the 6x6 pad, the puffy stickers, and the ephemera. So I knew I wanted to use that puffy sticker that says something like, "This is life right now," or something like that, that I put underneath that photo, because it had cute, super cute little dots on it that are multicolored, and then it also just met the occasion really well. And then I went through and found some different colored hearts, and I'm just kind of color blocking a little bit, so I don't know if that's what you call it, but I'm using the same colors in the same area. So by the purple pattern paper, where I also use purple stitching, I'm adding purple pieces of little doodads. I mean, in this case, I think it's from the puffy stickers. There's a couple different puffy stickers, but I don't know what they call them. I get all of those mixed up. Every company calls them something different, but that's basically what these are. And I'm going to add a little bit of black and white in there as well eventually, and then the wood veneer. So that's kind of the idea there, what I'm going with, and then I just kind of mess around with it for the next 10 minutes so that you can kind of see my thought process and what I go through as I'm adding new things to the layout. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm trying to find some different colors, same colors but different pieces that I can use. And so I wanted different sizes. I wanted mostly hearts and circles. And so that's what I end up finding. And I end up adding a black title and then a few other little black and white pieces like my journaling to kind of complete the layout. So I've got the basic idea here, and now I'll just tell you a little bit about these pictures. So in this picture, my daughter is behind me, my younger daughter, and then in front of me or in my arms is one of my two grandchildren, my two grandsons, excuse me, and this is the baby. He's 18 months old, and my grandsons and my older daughter are, their mama is living with us for right now, and so this was taken in late March, and they had just kind of started living here and spending a lot more time here, and so I have had a lot more photo opportunities with them, which has just been fantastic. And so what I just did just there is I put some vellum behind both pictures because it was sitting on my desk. Honestly, that is why I chose vellum. Sometimes I use tissue paper, and in this case I just use vellum. And then I'm just adding some blocks of color behind using some more of the pattern papers. And then I want it to be at least sort of straight in some of the places, and so I'm adding, or I'm using, excuse me, my T-square. Okay, so I'm going to add some tangled thread, but I don't end up using this color. I end up using black because I know I'm going to add a little bit more black to this layout, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough of that in all the right places to make it not stand out too much. So you're going to see me change that out here in a little bit. But back to the photos. So these photos were taken, and I was going to take a selfie with my grandson, and then my daughter came up behind us and kind of did a little bit of a photobomb there. And so then this is where I changed my mind and decided to go with the black. Anyway, so I took a couple different pictures. I probably took 3 or 4, but these were the 2 best ones because, of course, my grandson, being 18 months old, kind of just wants the phone. So he's trying to grab the phone in that second photo. But my daughter looks so cute in that second photo. I also had to use that, but it also gives an idea of movement and what was going on in the pictures and in the story. So that's the idea behind the photographs. During this time, part of the reason that I hope you can't hear all of the background noise here, but I am actually doing this voiceover outside in the evening because everyone in my house is asleep, and now that we have extra people in our house, our basement is full, and that's usually where I do my voiceovers, and our upstairs is full because that's where we sleep. So yeah, so I came outside, and so I can hear cars and people, and I can hear I can't understand why, but I can hear a air conditioner with my neighbor. So, and I've heard some animals, so it's kind of fun. It's kind of a new little adventure, so I hope it's not too windy, and I hope it's not messing with the mic. I know my voiceovers haven't been stellar. There were a few of them a little while back that weren't very good, and I apologize for that, and it's just me trying to figure out the new routine as our life is changing with my spending so much time with my dad as he's physically not doing so well, and also adding a few members to our household has just been an interesting 2018 and a mostly good 2018, to be honest. So I can't complain too much. So what you're seeing me do here is I'm adding a lot of the little touches that I wanted to add, like that flare button, my title, selfie shenanigans. I kind of went back and forth between sleepover shenanigans or selfie shenanigans, but I thought selfie worked better just with the design. And then I'm adding 3 different pieces of wood veneer in kind of a little bit of a triangle there for a design element. And then you're going to see me leave and come back, I think, wearing different clothes because I leave it for a few days, or a day at least, and then I come back and decide that it needs a little bit of yellow on it. And so I'm going to add that after I let this sit overnight. So I continue to go through the ephemera packs, and I toy with the idea of adding a little bit more wood veneer, but then I decided it just started to look a little too bulky around the photos, so I stuck with what I have for the most part. To be honest, one of the reasons I ended up adding yellows because I showed this to one of my scrappy friends because I just wasn't real happy with it. When you see it stop here in just a few minutes, and I'll come back in with something else. It was okay, but I knew it needed something else, and my friend said, "What about yellow?" And so I went, "Okay." And I tried a little yellow, and I liked it. It was a good call. So I end up adding a little bit yellow here coming up. So let's see. I wanted to add these butterflies. I don't know why, except for that I just liked the colors of them, and I ended up deciding no on that big purple heart because I thought it was just way too big. But I do come in with some Shimmerz products here. I believe they're all Coloringz, and I use a purple and kind of an aqua color, I think, and black. And then later when I add yellow, I add some yellow. And I will link those below. I know that the yellow is the school bus yellow, I think. And then yellow school bus. I can't remember what they're called. So I will just link them below in the description of the video so that you can see what those are called. Here's the purple. And what I do when I do this is I kind of try to add, this is my swatch book. So I handmade this using the idea that I was going to use it to create, maybe like an art journal. It has watercolor paper in it, but then also I just thought I would just play in it a little bit and try to use different techniques. So that's what that was that you saw, but it houses all of my swatches for my Shimmerz products. And so I was trying to match the purples. I don't use purple very often, but I have several of them. I just wasn't sure which one would work best. So that's when that swatch comes in handy. I think that might be Junie B. Blue. I can't remember. And then I do add a little bit of black. That's called Midnight something, I think. The names are so great of the Shimmerz products, but I can never remember them. So I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but this is a free cut file from the Cut Shop, and it's free for National Scrapbooking Day. There are, I think, 4 free files, and I used this one. I think I will probably use them all by the time I'm done because they're all really cute. So I'm trying to decide here if I want to add some more in the photo. Remember, I decided that it was getting a little heavy, but I end up adding a couple little doodads there. Okay, so now I'm going to come back, and it's the next day, I think, maybe 2 days, not sure. And I start to add a few yellow elements to the page, and then I'm finished. So what I'm doing here is I'm just dabbing up the excess because I think I'm done. And I'm going to take my photos and all of that kind of stuff and get it ready for the blog. But then I decided, nope, I came back and I was like, it needs yellow. So there was a yellow butterfly, which kind of sold me on the idea, to be honest, because I liked that I had 2 butterflies, but I wanted a third. And then so what I end up doing is I just use a few little pieces of yellow. So I use that tab, and then the circle up high, the butterfly, and now I'm trying to decide, I wanted this yellow polka dot paper that I thought was really cute, and I end up just putting it as a corner behind one side. And then I'm done once I come in with the Shimmerz Vibes, I think it's called Yellow School Bus, and I add that in around the yellow areas. So I just kind of, when I added my Shimmerz products, I just added yellow by yellow and teal by teal and purple by purple and black kind of by black and kind of around too. So there we go. So in the close-ups, you should be able to see the stitching a little bit better. When I set this up in my Silhouette software, I had it cut out 3 spots, and then I also had it stitch for me so that I could stitch behind the whole cut file. So that's how that worked. And I do have a stitching video if you need to see that. Maybe I could link that there. I added a little bit of yellow lines beneath that that piece of whatever it's called, puffy sticker, and then here are all the close-ups. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you're having a great weekend and getting lots of scrappy stuff scrapped and stories told, and I'll see you in the next video.